Alright guys, what's going on? I just wanted to go over what my basic nutrition looks like, and I mean, as I explain it, you'll see it's not very confusing. It's not overcomplicated, and I'll just explain each item as I go. But keep in mind, my biggest goal when I'm shopping is to get stuff that's going to help me create a better physique, but that's also going to be budget conscious. I don't go into the grocery store and say, okay, I need steak, I'm going to buy steak, that's going to be my protein. I'll go into the grocery store with the mentality that, hey, I need protein, what's going to be my cheapest option that's going to allow me to hit my macros and not be too crazy. So as far as what I got today, these are my carb sources. I love rice cakes. They're awesome. They taste awesome. They're also really good for cutting because there's a lot of volume to them. So it feels like you're eating a lot when you're not getting too many calories or carbs or anything like that. But they taste really good. Good source of carbs. I also have the boil in the bag brown rice, and that's just whole grain brown rice. You can do white or brown. I prefer brown to get the extra fiber in my diet. But the real cool thing about the boil in the bag that I really like is that if I'm at work, all I have to do is put it in a bowl of water and microwave it for 10 minutes. I really like fresh rice. I don't like making a bunch of rice, putting it in the fridge, and then microwaving it every time I want to eat it, or just eating it cold. I really like it fresh, and that's just the easiest way for me to do it. And if you guys haven't tried that, try that out. I have, as far as fruits go, I have bananas. I love bananas. Tons of fiber in there. Give you good complex carbs. And then I also have oranges as well. Oranges are really good. Taste good. I also have peaches. As far as fruits go, a lot of people overlook them. As far as my diet goes, I started incorporating them a lot more in my diet, and I felt like I was getting, leaner a little bit quicker. And it also helps, the fruits and the vegetables really help with the fiber. It enables you to, digest things quicker. It gets rid of bloatedness, and then also just helps, keep you regular, which is always important. And then as far as, I got some more carbs here. These are sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are awesome, full of vitamins, and then they're also going to have, quite a bit of fiber in there. And then, the cool thing about sweet potatoes, they're sweet, so you kind of get a little bit of indulgence in those. I also got some tuna here. Now the tuna, I actually just started eating this today. I have never tried tuna in my life before today, and I actually wasn't, disappointed, and it tastes pretty good. The stats are pretty good. I prefer the low sodium. I had the higher sodium one today, and it didn't sit well with me, so I just got the low sodium this time. Got a lot of protein in there, not a lot of fat. I really like the Mio Energy, or the Mio, flavored water. At Walmart, they had the Great Value version, which is pretty much the same thing. But those are amazing, for drinking your water, and putting some flavor in there. But what I use them for, I usually get unflavored BCAAs, which I don't know if you tried those before. They don't taste very well. So what I do, I'll put a scoop of unflavored BCAAs in my shaker bottle, and then put some of that stuff in there, and then it tastes just like flavored BCAAs. It saves you some money. And then everyone should have some Mrs. Dash. That is awesome if you're trying to season your food. Sodium free, which is awesome. It's going to stop you from bloating, and if you have problems with high blood pressure or something like that, get rid of that. And then I just got the 100% natural ketchup. Some people like to get the sugar-free kind. In my opinion, it's not worth the extra money, just because like I said, I'm always going to the grocery store trying to buy things on a budget. I also got some pure almond milk. If you guys want to try the almond milk, I definitely recommend doing the unsweetened vanilla flavor. It tastes awesome, and then the stats are amazing too. Awesome if you're cutting. There's only 2.5 grams of fat. There is less than 1 gram of carb. There's 1 gram of protein, so there's really not much in there, which is awesome if you want to put it on to cereal or something like that. You're just not going to get as much calories as even skim milk. I think skim milk has 80 calories per serving, so it saves you 50 calories, which is cool. I also got some fat-free cheddar cheese. I love putting that on my eggs just because, there's 9 extra grams of protein on there, and there's no fat in there, so you don't have to worry about, factoring that into your macros. Because most of the time, whenever I make my eggs, which I have here, I do a couple yolks, and that's where most of my fat comes from. Like I said, I've been cutting for a little while now, So I range from 30 to 40 grams of fat, and that's where most of my fat comes from. Um, and then I also have some Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt's awesome too. If you're looking, I like eating that before I go to bed. It tastes really good. I usually get the whatever brand is on sale and has not a lot of sugar. I know you can get some Greek yogurts that have, upwards of 20 grams of sugar, which I prefer to stay away from. I think that brand right there, it is the Dannon Light and Fit, has 7 grams of carbs, 12 grams of protein, which is pretty good as far as macronutrients go. And then, like I said, I get the eggs. And that, I usually just get the cartons of eggs. A lot of people like to get the egg whites. But the thing with the egg whites is you're just going to spend a lot more money. Although, sometimes it feels like you're wasting, a bunch of egg just because they're throwing away the yolks and stuff like that. If you figure it out and you do the math, you'll realize that buying cartons of whole eggs is the cheapest way to go. So that's what I recommend doing. And you can play around with it. Like sometimes I'll do 1 yolk and 3 egg whites and, whatever I feel like doing, whatever my macronutrients are looking like that day, I kind of factor that into play. Vegetables, I usually just get the frozen kind. They're super cheap. I don't like canned. You have some sodium and stuff like that in there. I like to stay away from that. But frozen vegetables, my preference for making those is just putting them in a saucepan. You don't have to add any olive oil or anything like that. But it just gives them a nice little char to it. Brings out the flavor a little bit. And you can also throw some like Mrs. Dash or pepper or something like that on there. That's pretty good. And then, of course, we have your chicken. And like I was saying, when I go to the grocery store, I'm just looking for, my protein. And if that means the chicken breast is the cheapest one, that's what I'm going to go for. If that means the ground turkey is the cheapest one, I'm going to go for. As long as it's going to, allow me to hit my macronutrients, as long as, it's not, 70-30 ground beef that's going to be crazy and fat and going to cause me to go over, I'll be logical about that. So when I went tonight, the chicken breast was $1.99 a pound, which is an awesome deal. I think for, let's see here, I don't know if you can see that. For 4.71 pounds, I spent $9.37, which is cool. I was happy with that. And the biggest thing about protein is, a lot of people overemphasize how important protein is. Don't get me wrong, protein's super important, but just don't overdo it. For me, I range from 150, 160 pounds. I just do 4-ounce portions because you do get protein from your rice and stuff like that. So I don't try to go over 1.5 grams per pound of body weight whenever I'm bulking, and then whenever I'm cutting, I prefer to do 1.5 for sure, just because you might be in a catabolic state, which you want protein to keep you out of that. Yeah. But whenever I'm bulking, I try to stick at 1 gram per pound, just because anything over that's unnecessary. And carbs are just super, super important to building muscle, keeping those energy levels up. And then the final thing, shout out to Chris Jones for this. I saw this on his channel. I usually, like I said, I usually go to the grocery store and on a budget, and this was, I think this bag was like $6 for 4 servings in there, but it just looked good, so I saw it on Chris Jones' channel. I was like, man, I got to try this out, see what it's all about. So I'm going to try that and see how it is. But that is pretty much everything I got. I think everything here came out to a total of maybe close to $80. And this will probably last me, some of it will last me over a week. Some of it will last me, a little under a week. But definitely going to last about a week all in all. And that's just what I got tonight. I like to go to the grocery store probably maybe once a week. Sometimes, when you run out of something, you just do a quick little visit, but I prefer to go and, get a bunch of stuff so I don't have to go back and forth. And then if you guys have any questions about diet or nutrition or anything like that, or how I cook any of my, foods, I'm going to post some cooking videos, but if you guys have any specific questions, just let me know. And I appreciate you guys' time. You guys have a good one. I forgot to go over this, but these are my carb sources that I end up eating, and this is what I purchased tonight. As far as my carbs go, I prefer to stay away from gluten. Gluten being, whole grains, basically any type of grains, which include, whole grain pastas, breads, bagels, Oatmeal. You can get some oatmeal that's gluten-free, but most oatmeal it has gluten in there, and I prefer to stay away from that. My mom actually has celiac disease, which means you have an intolerance to gluten, which can cause like inflamed joints and digestive issues. So I prefer just to stay away from it. You know, in my case, you know, everyone's different. There's a lot of people that can eat gluten, be totally fine, you know, look shredded, you know, not get any bloatedness or anything like that. But in my particular situation, whenever I do eat gluten, I do notice a little bit of bloatedness in my midsection, and especially during the summer, you know, that's not totally cool. You don't want to go to the pool and be, you know, looking like you're pregnant or anything like that. So that's my stance on gluten. You know, if you don't have any problems with it, you know, go for it. It's you know, I love breads and stuff like that, but I prefer to stay away from it.